God says, "What the enemy meant for harm, I am turning into victory." My child, come closer and listen carefully. I know there have been moments when life felt unfair. Moments when you could not understand why certain things happened to you. Moments when you looked around and wondered why the road seemed harder for you than for others. I know the questions that have filled your mind. I know the disappointments that have weighed on your heart. I know the tears you cried when nobody else knew you were hurting. And today, my child, I want you to hear something that can change the way you see your situation. What was meant for harm is not going to have the final word in your life. What was meant to discourage you is not going to define you. What was meant to stop you is not going to succeed. Because I am turning it into victory. My child, there were things that happened that you never expected. Doors closed. People walked away. Plans fell apart. Opportunities disappeared. And for a season, it felt like everything was moving in the wrong direction. You tried to understand it. You tried to fix it. You tried to make sense of it. But some of those situations remained unanswered. And the longer you waited, the more tempted you became to believe that the setback was permanent. But my child, a setback is not always a sign that your story is over. Sometimes a setback is the beginning of a greater comeback. Sometimes what looks like loss is creating space for something better. Sometimes what feels like defeat is preparing the ground for victory. You see the current chapter. I see the entire story. You see the struggle. I see the purpose being formed through the struggle. You see what was taken away. I see what is being built. My child, there are things you survived that should remind you how strong you have become. Think about where you were before. Think about the storms you already made it through. Think about the seasons you thought would break you. Yet somehow, you are still here. You are still standing. You are still moving forward. You are still hoping. And that matters. Because every challenge you survived added strength to your foundation. Every obstacle taught you something valuable. Every difficult season helped shape the person you are becoming. My child, do not underestimate the growth that happened in the middle of the battle. Do not overlook the lessons you learned while things were difficult. Do not dismiss the courage it took to keep going when everything inside you wanted to quit. You may not feel strong, but strength is often revealed through endurance. And you endured. You kept going. You continued taking one step after another. And that perseverance matters more than you realize. My child, there were voices that told you it was over. Voices that said you would never recover. Voices that tried to convince you that your best days were behind you. Voices that encouraged fear, doubt, and hopelessness. But those voices do not determine your future. Your future is not decided by fear. Your future is not decided by disappointment. Your future is not decided by the opinions of others. Your future is still full of possibility. And there are opportunities ahead that you cannot yet see. My child, sometimes the very thing that hurts you becomes the thing that teaches you. Sometimes the challenge that frustrates you becomes the challenge that strengthens you. Sometimes the experience you wish you could erase becomes the experience that prepares you for greater things. That does not mean the pain was enjoyable. That does not mean the struggle was easy. But it does mean that something valuable can still come from it. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you continue moving forward. And you have continued moving forward. That is why I want you to stop calling yourself defeated. Stop speaking as if the story has already ended. Stop assuming that because something went wrong. What happened does not have the final word. Your disappointment does not have the final word. Your fear does not have the final word. The struggle does not have the final word. There is still hope. There is still purpose. There is still opportunity. And there is still victory ahead. So hold on, my child. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep learning. Keep growing. Because what was meant to harm you does not have to define you. It can become part of your testimony. It can become part of your growth. It can become part of your story of resilience. And one day, you may look back and realize that the chapter you thought would destroy you became the chapter that revealed how strong you truly were. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with hope. Walk forward with expectation. Because your story is not ending in defeat. The next chapter is still being written. And there is still victory ahead.